Alright, so this should be the last segment. We're going to start wrapping this up. Consumables, Relics, and God Balances are the last thing we have to talk about for Season 5. Chalice of the Oracle reduced the cost from 400 to 300. Now every single Chalice is 300 gold. A lot of people shit on Chalice and think it's bad. I built it like every game at Super Regionals. I don't remember if I built it at Worlds or not. I might have done it like a couple games, but I basically disagreed throughout all of Season 4 with people saying this item is bad. I think it has its spots where it's good, but this item pays off so insanely quickly. So I've said this a million times, but you're already... So say you back and you want to buy 2 wards. You can either buy 2 normal wards, or you can buy Chalice. 2 normal wards is 100 gold, Chalice is 300. So you're paying 200 extra gold for the Chalice, and that means off of 2 backs, you will have made your money back. So off of 2 backs, you go even, and off of 3, you just come out ahead. You back a lot more often in Season 5 than you did in Season 4, because the laning phase just takes longer, and you don't have as much sustain. Like, the designers have basically said they don't want sustain to be as relevant and as OP as it was in Season 4. So you're going to be backing a lot more, which means you're going to get more procs from Chalice, and it's cheaper, and you're going to get your money out of it way quicker. Also, the map is much harder to ward, because all the wall changes means that you can't cover the entire map with, like, 3 wards, basically. Like, you can't cover every pathing option with, like, 3 or 4 wards. So you do need a lot more wards out. I'm pretty sure Chalice is super strong. You might actually see it on, like, multiple roles competitively. I think this item is really good. I could be fried, but I don't know, that's just my opinion. And then Relics, reduce duration of immunity on Aegis from 2 to 1.5. That is on the upgrade as well. And then increase the cooldown. Aegis was, in my opinion, the strongest relic in the game, pretty much. I thought it allowed you to bait so much. I think half a second, it doesn't make the item bad. Like, you would still buy it in all the spots you had to. But I think the main reason that this is a huge nerf is that against dot characters, like a Bastet or something, like, suddenly you can't immune as many hits of those ticks, or, like, versus Camazotz, the Camazotz can basically guarantee that they hit you with all 3 now, because they just have a half a second extra to swing. Yeah, I don't know. I think Aegis is still good. I don't know if this change was necessary. I think leaving the duration would have been good, and then just increasing the cooldown would have been warranted. But doing both may put Aegis Amulet in too weak of a spot, in my opinion. Cursed Ankh upgrade. Remove the debuff that increased mana costs and cooldowns. Now applies a new effect. You take 20% more damage from all sources if you are healed by an ability while this effect is on you. I actually kind of dislike this a lot. And the reason I dislike it is that a lot of heals you want to use... So, for example, let's say I'm Sylvanas. This would be probably the most relevant support healer. If I'm Sylvanas, a lot of times I'm healing for the protections rather than the actual heal. In mid and late game fights, the protections are actually more valuable and will save you more health than the heal. And now you get punished really hard for using Sylvanas heal into this. Because the procs, like, taking 20% more damage is definitely not worth the proc to give. I can guarantee that. Also, if you're a casual or a ranked player and your teammates don't notice this or they don't play around it, like, you're just gonna fucking insta-die. Like, you're gonna get killed so quickly. I really don't like this at all. I think it would have been cool to just add, like, a really severe mana drain mechanic to Cursed Ankh. Like, it did increase the mana cost of your cooldowns. I think it would have been really cool if, like, if you heal into Cursed Ankh, you lose, like, 5 or 10% of your mana every second for X seconds and basically drain the fuck out of healers. Normally, healers struggle with mana issues. Hell is very mana hungry. Afro, Chang'e, Guan Yu, all of them are very mana hungry. And I think a mana drain mechanic would have been really unique in Smite. There's not really many things that do that, if any at all. And I think that would have been a lot more fun than this upgrade. I'm not really a big fan of it. Obviously, it's very strong. If you're against pretty much any AoE healer and you pop this in a team fight, at a point where, like, they're forced to heal or they die anyways. Like, they either don't heal and they probably die, or they do heal and they die quicker. So, I don't know. It's definitely really strong. I just think it's maybe a little too much. Hand of the Gods and Hand of the Obs upgrade have been removed from the game. Thank fucking God. For anyone who has watched me do these patch notes reviews, anytime Hog comes up, I say remove it from the goddamn game. And they finally did it 3 or 4 seasons too late, in my opinion. But peace the fuck out. I hate this item so much. Shield of Thorns. Actually a really cool nerf to Shield of Thorns. Basically, you can see the values there. It caps out on how much damage you can reflect with Thorns. So, if 2 carries are hitting you, and they're doing a ton of damage... So you could almost think of it as like a shield effect, kind of. You can't reflect, like, a total of 10% unmitigated damage. It caps at 3k or something like that, I think. I don't want to do the math right now. But, yeah, just it basically caps. And then early game, it'll be a lot weaker. So, good change to Shield of Thorns. It'll be a lot more situational now instead of auto-buy fuck the hunter like it used to. God Balance. This should be the last category, I think. This is actually a big change. All mages have magical prot scalings of 0.9 per level. Previously, mages did not receive this, and it made them a lot squishier. This is one of the reasons Guardians could literally solo mages at, like, pretty much every stage of the game. If the Guardian had any damage or not, they could pretty much solo a mage. So this should help that a good bit, and pretty much every mage is on this list. Agni, increased movement speed from 350 to 355. You'll see a lot of changes like this as well. AMC has been nuts in pro play, so they're nerfing him. Decreases attack speed buff from 10 to 50%, or from 10 to 50 to 10 to 30, so 20% less attack speed, and decreases movement speed by 5% at all ranks. Definitely a really good nerf to AMC. I think he'll still be pretty good, but he won't be as OP as he used to be. The Hive was by far his best ability. The Hive or his ult. His ult was really good too, but AMC had really good early pressure. He had an insane steroid and all of that stuff, so they nerfed the steroid. He's definitely still a strong god, but I like the direction they changed him in. Ao Kuang, they just changed the ability. Basically, it used to apply the heal right away. It'll now only apply the heal if you actually have gone up to the air and executed them. So you can't just, like, hit somebody who then beads and then get the execute off. Or, and then get the heal off, not the execute. Ares, increased movement speed by 5. Kakalin, more changes for this little guy. Reduce base HP 5 from 9 to 7. And then his ult increased the cooldown from 90 to 100. Still a good god, but all of these tweaks definitely do hurt him a good bit. Fafnir, okay, so I'm going to rant on this a little bit. First point, fuck Fafnir. He is completely broken and has been broken for a long time. He has so many mechanics in his kit that make him so insane that it is really annoying. But the most annoying part about him is that the nerfs never target what actually makes him OP with this god. I complained about this with Terra as well. Like, I feel like the character's being nerfed in a bad way, in my opinion. Like, with Terra, I really disliked that they nerfed her entire kit. They nerfed her 2 and her 3 a ton, instead of just nerfing the ult. The ult was the reason she got picked, not the other character, or not the other parts of the kit. Sorry, I need to water. I'm over here ranting. But, yeah, I don't know. So they nerfed his 1, and it's now half a second less. So 1 second really isn't that long for people to follow up. Like a 1 second stun is kind of just meh. The thing I don't get is the OP parts of his kit are his ult and his 2, and his stun and dragon form. Like, I think it would have been much better to reduce the stun duration in his dragon form because it's 2 seconds, or reduce the range you can jump in his dragon form because it's like the longest jump in the game. Excuse me for a second. Oh, sorry about that. But, or like, he has full immunity when he ults, and then he has CC immunity when he deforms, like, and then his 2 gives you, like, 25% bonus damage and, like, 30% attack speed or something like that. Like, That's the shit that makes Fafnir broken, that he can siege and kill objectives instantly in dragon form because of his 2, and that he makes hunters really insane, or he makes mages hit much harder, and that his 3 is really, really OP. It's like an instant jump, or in dragon form it goes really far and stuns for 2 seconds. Like, the 1 would literally be like the 4th option to nerf, in my opinion. I don't think that this was the way to do it. This was also the hardest ability in his kit to land. Granted, it's really not that hard if you just press W at them and hit them melee range. But yeah, I think Fafnir deserved a nerf. I just don't think this one is going to kill him, and I think he needed a more impactful nerf, and I think it should have been to the rest of his kit, and it would have hurt him a lot more. So, I agree with nerfing Fafnir, but I hate the way it was done. Hebo, base movement speed increased by 5. Hel, increased base movement speed by 5. Khepri, increased movement speed by 5. Kuzumbo, increased health per level by 5. Loki, decrease the fucking cooldown by 2 seconds and increase damage on decoy. I hate this character so much. I know everybody hates this character. I don't think he's fun to play with on your team. I don't think he's fun to play against. I think he should kind of just get rekitted, sorta. I think decoy is just a lame ability. And if he had a different... If his 2 was a different ability, I think he would be much better. Loki might actually be good through all the item changes and the blessing changes and stuff like that. He might actually be a decent character in Season 5, especially with this buff, which is a little irritating. I guess we haven't had Loki in the meta in pretty much like 3 or 4 years or something like that, so I can't complain too much, but I think I would rather just see his decoy get rekitted a little bit. Nike, so basically the point made on Nike is that her win rate ever since she's been released, I think, is like one of the highest, if not the highest in the game, because her passive is so damn good. But her abilities, like, in a selfish way, aren't that insane. So basically what's happening is Rend is now knockback immune while channeling this ability, which is definitely a big deal. You can't get it interrupted as easily. And now decrease the damage from 50 to 190 to 50 to 170. So if you have it proc all 3 times, it is 60 less damage. And if it's only the normal version, it's 40 less damage. I think that the knockback is more valuable than the damage in most cases, because not being able to interrupt the ability is very, very good. Or even when you're getting chased down, not being able to be like... For example, if you're playing against like a Bacchus, it can like save your life when he flops on you if you pop your 1 and then you can't get knocked up. Or like a Sylvanas like ults you and you can't get knocked up. So it's actually a really big change. Overall, it's a buff to Nike. But basically, if you read this, it basically means that they want to nerf her, kind of. So they're trying to nerf her with her damage, and they can't really nerf her passive because that's already been nerfed. So they're just going to change her around a little bit, and this might not be the last one, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's really weird. Like, Nike's not that good. This change will probably make her probably make her good, and then her ult will probably get nerfed again. That seems to be the trend with Nike, is she gets, like, 1 minor buff and then just gets nerfed again. Ra, increased movement speed by 5. Raijin, he was really fucking broken at Worlds. He was, like, the best character, actually not the best character in the game. We thought at Worlds that only Ravana was better, pretty much. We thought he was, like, the 2nd or 3rd best character, maybe behind Fafnir. But yeah, really OP character. So, reduce the base damage on Percussive Storm from 360 total to 340. 20 damage, not that big of a deal. Raiju, damage to targets beyond the first from 55 to 33. So basically, when it bounces, it'll do less damage. The initial target will still take as much damage. Increase cooldown from 90 to 100 on Assault. Still going to be a really good mage, just, you know, slight adjustments. Ratatosker, Dart, increase cooldown. And then Acorn Blast from 60 to 80. I actually didn't know that he was getting changed. I'm going to read this. Ratatosker is one of the few gods we are just in anticipation of Season 5. His global presence combined with his ability to upgrade Acorn out of base. I actually agree with that. That's actually a good idea. So basically it's saying that because the map is bigger, Rat's ult was going to be really, really good. and that being able to build your acorn out of base gave him a lot more sustain than other characters, and he has really good clear because he has AoE auto attacks in his hit chain, and his 2 clears really well in the jungle. So Rat was probably going to be, I guess they were anticipating that Rat was going to be really good, and now with these changes, they just want to tone him down a little bit. I actually think this was good changes for Rat. I think he maybe had a chance to be really OP if they didn't do this, so good on Hi-Rez for doing that. Decrease the base health on Ravana. Okay, Ravana is another character that I just fucking hate. This character is busted. His kit is so overbloated. Decreases base health from 470 to 450, and decreased damage mitigation buff from 20 to 40 to 10 to 30. This is actually a really massive nerf. Not even because of the 10%, you know, at all ranks. It's just early game, like, 10% damage mitigation really doesn't matter that much. Like, 20... Like, I don't know, basically, having your damage mitigation in the early game as Ravana, he used to just be insanely tanky and be able to one-shot you. He'll still be able to kill every mage, but, yeah, I think Ravana probably is a lot worse off in the new season because he doesn't clear the jungle as well as other junglers with the Assassin Blessing, and his damage mitigation is a lot less. So, overall, I like this change. Fuck Ravana. Scylla, increased movement speed by 5, increased her base health per level from 68 to 75, makes her a lot harder to kill. Thoth, increased base damage from 35 to 115 to 40 to 120. I don't know. I think Thoth will be pretty much the same as he is. This, if anything, the reason I'm like pondering it is I'm trying to think if this means he clears waves, because it's 5 at the early ranks too. I'm trying to think if this means that he'll one-shot the wave like a rank earlier. Like, for example, this is 15 more damage. I don't know if that 15 damage means that, like, you full clear archers at level 3, like when you have 2 points in this ability, where previously you didn't. If that's the case, then this is a really big change. If not, then who really cares? So I guess I'd have to test this, but kind of just a whatever change. Tier, increased heal physical power scaling from 0 to 20%. His heal fucking scales, so he will heal and sustain a lot more. Tier's been changed a lot. I think he just has really bad matchups. Like, a lot of new gods in the game, Ganesha, for example, can do really well against him because they can just silence out his combo so easily. RDO is another good example. Like, both those new guardians were brought in Season 4, and RDO would probably be the better one. She's a pretty good soul laner, or has been a pretty good soul laner. And you can just cripple him out, and then his kit's basically useless against her, so this will help him a lot more. Ymir, increased movement speed by 5. And that is the end of Season 5 patch notes. I encourage everybody to go on PTS and check this stuff out. I'm not going to give any final opinions or any summarized opinions too much, because I think a lot of the stuff will change. Basically, my only initial thoughts is that the only roles, I think if you're getting on PTS, you should pretty much just test the mages for the most part, because the mages definitely have by far the most changes. All these magical items and the tank shred items and the movement speed adjustments and the pen items, everything like that. Mages are going to feel completely different. Season 5 is basically going to be the best mages have ever been, and probably make them feel the most unique. I love that Rod of Tahuti was removed. And I think I like the Guardian, or not the Guardian, the Blessing system a lot. So, yep, that's pretty much it. Hope everybody enjoyed the patch notes review. I will be back, I think Monday they're doing an update, and I will have a video on that update. So yeah, see you guys. Have a good one.